Hello awesome folks, welcome back to another Garden Gurus video by MB Heritage Farms. Today we're going to show you how to store sweet potatoes long term. Okay guys, so here's our sweet potatoes. They've seen better days. You can see there's some die back, and we've had something out here eating on them. We have a blue Andalusian chicken loose, and it comes in here sometimes. So anyway, we do have a little bit of insect pressure. The rabbits come out at nighttime and nibble on the leaves here, as you can see. But we only planted 2 sweet potatoes here. Like I said before, we got them from Naturally NC. Chris and Dee sent us some in a seed swap. We got 4, and we planted 2 somewhere else, and we have 2 here in this tire. And we're going to go ahead and use this one for the video, so we can show you guys how we harvest and put up our sweet potatoes. Now let me start by saying again, we got these really late. When the box did come and we got it, we kept the sweet potatoes for a little while before we put them in the ground. I'm gonna say we put these things in somewhere around July. It might have even been August. It was pretty late. Our purpose for putting them here was, we knew that when we did get them, we had so many projects going on that we wasn't going to be able to plant them as soon as, you know, we did get them. So what I wanted to do was make sure that we had potatoes for next year. So we wanted to create some seed potatoes. But we didn't go out and plant these sweet potatoes in our main garden up there for a big harvest. We wanted to put these things in a low light situation. This barn here is really old, and while it is still standing, it provides shade right here around this tire, and it only gets about 4 hours of sun a day, and it's usually shaded the rest of the day. And we wanted that slow growth because we didn't want big huge potatoes that, you know, to put up for seed. We wanted them to grow and establish, and we did want them to multiply, but we wanted them to multiply slowly, so we could get up a pretty good box full of seed potatoes. And we're going to show you guys how we put these sweet potatoes up and keep them all winter long, and then take them out in the springtime and plant them. And that's when we're going to aim for a booming harvest. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut off some of these greens all the way down to the sweet potatoes. You can see some there. We're going to leave a little bit of growth on them, but we're going to cut most of these greens off. And it's the same thing as just pruning, and we'll come back and show you guys what we do next. All right guys, let's go ahead and get some of these greens cut, so we can get some of these potatoes out of the ground. So now really this is pretty simple. All we're going to do is just go right up to where they lead down to the ground on the potatoes, and we're just going to start pulling on them, and wherever they're tight on the potatoes, we're going to cut them out. We're not saving any slips this year, so we're not worried about any of that. We'll be getting slips next year. Now once we get these slips cut off, we could probably, if we wanted to, leave these sweet potatoes in the ground for a few more days, but with all the rain and stuff we've been having, it's just not been, it wouldn't be very smart or very good idea to be leaving them in the ground. Rain's detrimental mostly to potatoes. So like I said, we only planted 2 potatoes here. We're going to go ahead and just start seeing what all's in here and what we got. Oh well. Try not to break them, but it does happen. This is what we was looking for right here, guys. We believe that these potatoes will keep a lot better. We don't want big massive potatoes. This is exactly the slow growth that we was looking for. There's a big old sweet potato. Oops. I don't like breaking them, that's for sure. So far, if we didn't get any more than that, I'm happy, because like I said, all we planted here was 2. We're not doing bad though. I'm happy with what I'm seeing. and we're picking them at the right time too. There's no sogginess, they're not rotted, but it's really wet down in here. We hit it at the perfect time. Now we didn't really come down here and water and fertilize at all, really. We like to give our plants amendments before we plant them, and all this soil here was built from our chicken coop, and you guys know we make our own soil mix here anyway. And we just filled this tire up and planted those sweet potatoes. And for 2 small sweet potatoes, guys, we've done really good so far. We won't put all these big ones to seed. We're going to eat some after we cure them, of course. But most of these we know we wanted for seed potatoes. Looks like we'll have to do some more digging. We are perfect time too. I'm so glad we're out here doing this, or we would have lost a bunch. Man, these things ran everywhere. I figured we had another one there. I thought I felt it. Okay guys, I'm back. I gotta say I'm really happy with what we got for just 2 sweet potatoes. Alright, so here is the greens that we have. Now we do have some still creeping all up over the wall, but our tire's empty. Here's our 7-gallon bucket with our potatoes. Now if you notice, these potatoes are still dirty. I'm going to get most of the big thick dirt off of that, but we're not going to wash and clean these potatoes. We're going to leave the dirt and everything on them. These long root looking shoots here, if you'll notice, all of them have it on there. We do that on purpose. That helps for take off and starting really quick when we put them in the ground next year. So the next thing we're going to do, since we're not going to clean these, we're just going to rub a bunch of the big thick mounds of dirt off of it so they don't hold moisture and make rot spots in our potatoes. But we're not going to wash them. We're going to get us a cardboard box, fill it with wood chips. We're going to stick our potatoes in there and show you how we store them until next spring. Y'all stay tuned, we're going to show you how we do it. Okay, so once we get our sweet potatoes out of the ground, we're going to let them lay out and dry completely. We're not going to wash the dirt off of it. You don't need to wash them at all. You do need to take your, like your fingers and find some really heavy dirt, the really heavy clumps, and make sure you rub it all off. But you don't want to wash them, and you don't want to rub them enough to mess with the skins. We want that light layer of dirt on there, but we also want these skins dry before we start storing them. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate what we do. There's our seed potato. That's that one of the 4-ounce potatoes that we planted. I can't find the other ones, so here we have a milk crate. You can use a regular cardboard box. Make sure it's got plenty of holes in it, because you don't want any humidity or buildup. So the more air, the better. The next thing I have is some wood shavings. Now, if I had my preference, I'd want the big wood chips, shavings, instead of like this dust here. It just controls moisture a lot more, but this right here will be fine. Anyway, with this smaller stuff here, we're going to go ahead and just create a bottom. We want these potatoes where they can breathe. We want to go ahead and make a good false bottom, and then we're going to take our potatoes that we're going to use for seed. And again, this is demonstration purposes, guys. I'm going to let these things dry out, and then we're going to make sure they're not touching each other, and we're going to put them in there just strategically as we can. Notice all our potatoes have these little sprouts and shoots on them. That's what we want. So let's say that we're going to use it like that, which is exactly what we would do. And then we're just going to take and cover the sweet potatoes up the rest of the way with our shavings and sawdust. Okay, so now that we got it like this, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put it somewhere where the humidity is 50 or less. You don't want a lot of moisture where you store these at, and you want it to be cool. You can put them up on your house if you have a basement, that'd be fine, but the best advice I can give you is if you wouldn't put your canning jars there because you're worried about them rusting around the rings, then you definitely don't want to put your potatoes there, because moisture is, again, the #1 enemy for these things. So basically we're just going to take these things back out. We're going to let them dry completely, and this is exactly how we're going to store them. If you got a cardboard box, that'll be just as good. It's probably even better. You can put them in your basement or under the house, but you need to really pay close attention to the moisture. Now we can leave these just like this right here for at least 6 months, and we're going to use these exact same potatoes next spring as seed potatoes to have a huge harvest next year. We're going to dedicate the whole lower end of the garden to sweet potatoes, so we'll have plenty to store, and then we'll also have plenty to cure and eat. Alright guys, we hope this helps. Thank you for watching, and as always, we'll see you again on another Garden Gurus video from MB Heritage Farms.